Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hey, welcome to me. I guess this is Jan Lewis. We have Nadine Smith with us. And Nadine is from UMass Memorial Medical Center, Marlborough. Am I correct?
That's correct.
She is a speech language pathologist. And I know some people say speech therapist, but speech language pathologist. And Nadine is going to tell us about the variety of programs that they have over there. Welcome, Nadine.
So good to be here, Jan. Thank you.
First of all, how did you get into this?
Well, believe it or not, I was a respiratory therapist, after which I pursued my education and went into private industry and worked with healthcare software, believe it or not. And then I really followed my passion for a clinical career. And I was fortunate enough to go to MGH, Mass General Hospital Institute of Health Professions, and get my second master's degree there. And it gave me the opportunity to work in some wonderful teaching-based institutions throughout Massachusetts.
Yeah. When did you get to UMass?
I guess I've been there about 17 or 18 years.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, we met you over at Marlborough.
That's correct.
Yep, you're over there. Do you ever go to the University main campus? Or you stick with Marlborough?
I'm pretty much adherent to Marlborough and very proud of being there. We have an incredible group in our outpatient rehab. We all work inpatient and outpatient. So we see our patients through the continuum of care.
And the doctors over there refer their patients to you.
That's correct. As well as we take referrals from the main campus. The one beautiful thing that we have to offer is immediacy of turnaround. If you have a need pretty much with regard to speech, I can see the patient fairly immediately. Because this is my focus. So it's nice to be able to treat a patient, assess a patient, say, during the course of their stroke in the inpatient setting, and then see how much better they become and they evolve in outpatient.
And they look forward to seeing you, too.
Thank you.
You know, there was a
so.
friend of mine who had, Dr. Kim is great over there, and he had done I suppose it's a laryngectomy, but he had to speak with the little gadget. Do you have to help them?
Absolutely. I've worked with people with pharyngeal cancer, as well as people that have had extensive surgery and they come to get their swallow assessed in our radiology department. And we have the same physicians pretty much as UMass. They rotate through our radiology department. And the nice thing is we're all UMass employees. Everything we do is evidence-based, scientific, based upon research and not trend.
Right. Everybody is so nice. I mean, at every campus, but they've got so many of them. But I mean, UMass has really branched out there, and now they've even got their Northborough has their new everything from urgent care to eyes. There are all kinds of things.
That's right.
Do you ever go to over there at all?
Well, I am working with one physician over there and assessing his patients. May I mention names or?
If you want the doctors, sure.
Yes,
give them a plug.
Yes. Dr. Francis Huttinger. And I'm doing many of his assessments and treatments and working with the programs that we're attempting to co-develop.
Yeah.
So it's a privilege.
Sure.
He's originally from the Mayo Clinic and has come here. And
Here we go. Somebody from the Mayo Clinic over at UMass now.
Right.
That is fantastic. When a person comes to you with whatever ailment and they need a speech pathologist, are they frightened, a lot of them, like, oh my God, I'll never be the same again?
Well, a lot of people say who have a neurological disease are very discouraged, say like Parkinson's.
Yeah. My grandmother had that, and she just completely changed.
Right. And it's going to happen, but everybody changes at a different rate.
Yeah.
Or if they have aphasia secondary, to a stroke where they've lost the facility to speak. But we are the people that can work with the islands of preservation. What are your strengths? And we can expand upon them. We can provide you with the technology. I work with people that have had aphasia currently.
And what is aphasia, to those who don't know?
Those that have lost speech.
Lost the capacity to speak?
To speak, right. And can't make their needs known, and they're angry, and they're frustrated.
Yeah.
And we have various apps, computer apps, that can help them get their thoughts out and make their needs known, and also safety, being able to express where the pain resides, and along the spectrum, the severity of the pain. The good thing is that we not only work with the patient, but we work with the family in training them on the functionality, the benefits, the features of the software that would fit well for them. We work with people who have neurological diseases. We mentioned, excuse me one moment, we mentioned Parkinson's. And we see a lot of patients with Parkinson's disease. At our campus at Marlborough Hospital, we have Lee Silverman voice therapy, which is sort of the gold standard for voice volume augmentation and making clarity, facilitating clarity of speech, and once again, giving that patient that sense of efficacy. I can make my needs known.
Yes,
and
it's important.
It's a very intense program. It's a very rigorous program. But the wonderful thing is, you're not defined by your disease.
No.
You're defined by what you can do. Of course, there is the gating factor of the rate of progression.
Sure.
But you look at people in the media like Michael J. Fox,
Yes.
who have done very well. And I'm very proud to be part of that program and to offer that program to people within the Marlborough community and beyond. We see people not only from Marlborough, we see people from throughout the country.
Yeah.
And actually, I've seen people from all over the world with the various programs that we offer, because we have speech, we have physical therapy, we have occupational therapy. The thing that's wonderful about us, we've all been there a long time. So we have, together, most of us have been there over 15 years. So we're happy. We're proud
happy
to be part of
Yeah.
Marlborough Hospital. And we do, because we know each other and we do share patients, you have this consolidation of teamwork and team effort. We value one another, and I think patients sense that. And particularly when you address a condition, you're not only addressing speech or eating, you're addressing gross motor, fine motor movements. So we communicate, we're all there, we communicate with one another. We're not in the, you don't go into phone mail hell when you call us.
Nadine, we're talking with Nadine Smith, and she is a speech-language pathologist at University of Massachusetts Memorial. She's at the Marlborough branch. And Paul, she brought the most wonderful sign, and did you get a picture of the, zoom in on this, the colors? Did you design this?
No, I wish I had that talent.
Boy, I love the color. What is that the symbol? What is that?
That is the symbol of UMass Memorial.
Yeah, but is it
together
like
to-
hands with a little...
Yes, I believe. I'm not quite sure on the derivation.
Nadine, I have a question. When somebody has a speech, when they come to you, maybe they've lost some of their hearing or whatever, when they come in, are they having trouble speaking because of that hearing problem?
Hearing's very key. It's one of the first things that we look at, which we look at a gross screening of hearing, but we will refer somebody to an audiologist, because very often it's not dementia or it's not some type of cognitive deficit. It's a hearing deficit.
Right.
Similarly, now that you brought in cognition, understanding, you have to be able to hear in order to do physical therapy or in order to participate in occupational therapy. But one of the things that we endeavor to do is, when people think of speech, they think of articulation. They think of the speech therapist in school or the speech therapist who works with your children in early intervention.
Right.
I have worked across the lifespan. We will see students I usually will see people if they can follow
Right,
directions, if they can integrate and generalize. We'll even work on situations such as dyslexia.
Yeah.
And people oftentimes don't realize we do these swallow studies, and I'll say, I'm Nadine Smith, the speech pathologist who'll be working with Dr. So-and-so, and they go, why are you involved with swallow?
Yeah.
Well, it's our knowledge of the oral motor, the oral mechanism, and you don't have to choke or you don't have to aspirate and have many pneumonias. And if you feel that you are having difficulty eating, a swallow study will give you the strategies to cope with the normal aging and a slowing of the swallow reflex, or swallow in the context of any neurological problem you might have. And it's wonderful to see. My goal is to have people get the maximum hydration and nutrition safely that they can. But getting back to speech, one of the things that I work with, besides aphasia, besides expressing oneself and understanding language, expressive and receptive language, we look at cognition. And very often people will say, excuse me, I think that I'm losing it. And they worry that it's something going on with aging. So I will tell them, you need to ask your physician for an order, and we can do a cognitive test. And we look at not only memory, both short-term and long-term. We look at attention to task. We look at executive function, how you self-regulate.
And this can all affect speech.
Well, it's part of speech. It's under the umbrella of speech-language pathology. We also look at visual spatial planning, and as well as language. So you get a very good cognitive picture. And I do this often not only with the neurologist I mentioned, Dr. Huttinger, but other neurologists in our practice in the UMass.
And asthma and allergy. I mean, I met her through an asthma and allergy doctor.
Right.
Sure.
So one of the things that we want to do is let people know if you have concerns about eating, if you're coughing while you're eating, don't let it get to the point of a pneumonia or to the point of not wanting to eat because it's something too challenging. Speak to your physician if you worry that you're changing cognitively. If you come out of our hospital, out of what we call acute care, into subacute care, rehab, or home services, and you wish to continue an outpatient, we welcome you and would like, very often, we'd like to continue with you. And very often, a speech therapist will have his or her own take as to where you are, and maybe a different approach. There is the scientific aspect of speech, but there's also the art aspect, how you would approach language expression.
We're talking with Nadine Smith, and she is a speech-language pathologist. She works over at UMass Memorial Medical Center in the Marlborough branch. How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, well, the first thing that you would have to do is tell your physician you would like to go to UMass Memorial Marlborough outpatient rehab. We're on 340 Maple Street in Marlborough.
Very easy to find, by the way. Just go down Route 85.
And the nice thing about it is no problems with parking.
No.
So, and
very quiet.
It is.
And they have a wonderful gift shop, by the way. I got a cute stuffed bunny rabbit and some books.
Oh, in the hospital. Well, we're not in the hospital. We're in an outpatient building, which is nice. There isn't that much. There isn't.
Yeah, that's right.
Chaotic.
That was at the hospital. This is you're at the outpatient building, even closer on 85.
Right, very much. And the thing that your doctor needs to do is to fax over an order. 508-303-2065 is our fax number. And it's always good to follow up with a phone call to say, did you get the fax for my order? Or he can put the order, if he is in the UMass system, on Epic which is the electronic medical.
What's the main number over there?
508-486-5900.
And that's how you're going to reach the, well, it's actually physical therapy, but speech pathology is
Exactly.
right in there. Yeah.
And you can find out, exactly what your insurance benefit is.
Yeah.
You always have to call over first, just so there are no surprises.
Right.
As to the nature of your coverage, the nature of your co-payment, and we can make it happen
Right.
at your convenience.
All ages, Nadine?
Well, I usually start with, I will see young children,
Yeah.
7 or 8. If a child is the early intervention age, that's a little bit different. But I would prefer to speak with the parent first, because very often I want to deliver what's best for their.
We autism too. A lot of them have.
Right.
Is that quite popular?
Right.
Yeah.
It is. So it's always important to speak with the parent first,
Yeah.
because we want to deliver what's best. And in our visits, I always ensure that a patient has written instructions, follow-up. Therapy is not for an hour a week. I'm not a mechanic that
No.
fixes.
You got to go home and do the homework.
Gotta go home and do that homework. Otherwise, it's just, it has to become a way of life. So if you have an exercise for swallowing, it has to be done continuously. If you have other exercises, they have to be done. So when you need to invoke them immediately, they're in your pocket.
Right. I know she sent me home with a library. And boy, I know exactly what to do because of it. What do you do, Nadine, with someone who comes in and they're so discouraged? You're like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to motivate them to do what I'm showing them?
Well, the one thing that's important is that it comes from within the patient.
Yeah.
They have to have the perception that this is going to make a difference in their life. It can't be their partner sitting across the table going, you've got to do it. I believe the partner is there to be part of the therapy, but not to, and I always educate the partner accordingly. Once that person feels it's not their choice or it's not their decision, sort of like dealing with a child, they're not going to do it. But once they feel they're going to do it and their partner is the support mechanism,
That's the great part. That's great.
That's the important thing.
Did you know, Nadine, when you were in high school or earlier, that you wanted to do this?
I absolutely didn't.
You didn't know?
I didn't. I always knew I had a circuitous route.
Yeah.
I knew I liked my career in respiratory therapy and as a cardiopulmonary tech. But then when I went on to college, I had a human services degree, went into industry, and because I had the healthcare background, I was able to work in a healthcare software group and get involved with application software.
What
as
is
well.
application software?
There's an operating system, and on top of it is the application being, with a physician credentialing system, a lab system, so that you write different applications on top of an operating system.
That's a lot of heavy-duty, intricate work.
Well,
I'd be lost.
I was doing the marketing, but not the software development.
Yeah.
And then when I came on, after doing it several years, and working with various hospitals and application companies, and doing a lot of marketing and trade shows, I decided I needed something a lot more meaningful.
Yeah.
So I was really blessed about making a decision that I was truly committed to speech-language pathology in a great environment like Marlborough Hospital, which is part of a teaching hospital. And now I'm able to convey what I've learned and what I've done in my 20 years of experience with nursing students, with medical students, and I'm able to go out into the community and talk about what we do in beautiful forums like here and in senior centers and various
So you give
councils
presentations, Nadine?
Yes.
If somebody wanted you to come and do a presentation, how would they reach you?
508-486-5900. 5900.
Okay,
And I
yeah.
will be happy to speak to stroke support groups or Parkinson's support groups, as I have, and give a demonstration of what our therapy is.
How about senior centers?
I'm going to
Yeah.
be going on the third one this year.
Libraries too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the nice thing is, people who never considered speech before,
Yeah.
it surprised me when I got into this field that people were rather naive about what speech therapy could do. Again, they think it's articulation. They don't realize it's swallow, it's cognition. Very strong overlap. We have a program for those that have had head and neck cancer that incorporates physical therapy to work on jaw excursion, opening and closing of the jaw, but also incorporates swallow issues.
That friend of mine was speaking through his microphone. I don't know how he did it.
Right.
He was great.
Right. And I think it's with the right therapist and the right fit. And I also think having this multidisciplinary model that's co-located.
Yeah.
It's not just one therapist coming out to see you. It's people together down the hall
Yes.
and saying, do you think, how often we say this to one another, do you think this person might benefit
I
from
really
one
do.
or two
Yeah.
sessions of physical therapy or...
Radiation. I know that with radiation, especially if you have it to your neck and your head, boy, can you get a dry mouth.
Right.
Do you run into that at all?
All the time.
Oh.
All the time. And we're able to assess that, and we're able to make suggestions with regard to eating and safe eating. So if
Yeah.
you've had radiation, the food does not adhere to the back of your throat.
How about Sjogren's syndrome? My mother had that. The dry, you'll know it if you get it. It's like always your dry mouth, your eyes. Oh, she suffered with that.
Once again, it's a modification of the diet, and we can do some things empirically, but the best way to deliver service is having a study for 10 or 15 minutes, and we can see on the camera what's really going on. Because sometimes people will be coughing quite a bit. It'll be perfectly normal.
Yeah.
But it's their behavioral pattern of eating too quickly, or if they have the dry mouth and food is adhering. It's the behavioral pattern of not drinking when you eat.
Some people they were told years ago, don't drink fluids when you're eating, but yet that's
Right.
the thing that you need to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then voice. You hear me clearing my throat, which is a bad thing to do.
I do the same thing, and Nadine taught me how to deal with that. Water.
The nice water, and the hard swallow.
Here, let me join you. There you go.
We'll do our hard swallow together.
You have never forgotten it.
So that's good. It's the generalization.
Yeah.
So another good thing about our facility, we can tell you, and we will share with you, where therapy is, what it's really doing for you. If it is time to stop and basically manage your condition with the strategies that you've received, we help you get to that point without feeling that we're throwing you out on the street.
Right.
But voice is one thing that there are a lot of people who have vocal, I don't think I mentioned it, but vocal misuse or normal voicing of aging. Please see your doctor, see an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and then come to me. And there are some great voice regimens, rather.
If you're a singer too, right?
Right. Vocal regimens. I don't know why I said regime.
That's all that.
That you can practice that will strengthen your voice.
Yeah.
So that you will, as a result, if you have a profession that's vocally intensive, like yourself,
Right here.
right, or a singer, or a teacher, or you have many kids,
Maybe you're a coach on a team and you got to keep yelling.
let me work with you on some strategies that'll preserve your voice so you will not end up with vocal polyps.
That's another thing too. That wonderful little test. I've had it done a number of times. It's no big deal. They this little tube, it goes in your nose, and then
nose,
they just sit there and they watch on the TV what your vocal cords look like.
Right, exactly.
Right? They really never could find anything. One time mine looked a little swollen, but nothing, I think it's because of that
significant.
constant throat clearing I did.
Right.
Oh,
So we have strategies to help you be more self-attuned to throat clearing. And you know what? Once people, I have found, like yourself, are informed of the risks of excessive yelling or
yeah.
throat clearing,
Throat polyps.
or
Yeah.
they know they can self-regulate.
Yeah, I would do anything to avoid surgery of throat polyps. Thank you very much. It
Vocal
doesn't sound very
polyps.
appetizing to me.
Right.
Ugh. So, will you listen to someone like Nadine and say, okay, I'm going to be good. I'm going to follow this because I don't want to end up on the operating table.
No.
I don't want to lose my voice. Some people, they have lost their voice literally, but can that be undone?
Well, it depends. You know, we have some wonderful surgeons like Dr.
Kim?
Kim,
Yeah.
Dr. Ito, Dr. Vaisi, at UMass. But you know, sometimes I have had people, an interesting phenomenon, even started when I was a student at Mass General, that have had a bad respiratory event and they've lost their voice
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
And then they'll come in and we call that functional. And I will say, give them some maneuvers to do. Biological maneuvers like lifting a chair underneath themselves or pretending to gargle. Whoa!
Yeah.
They find out it was just a habit.
And now you've
the
given
voice
them the
comes
light at
back.
the end of the tunnel that the
Right.
voice is coming back.
It's coming back. And sometimes it's just a matter of time. But why see a therapist? At least we can gate it. And at least we can document it. Similar to the cognitive evaluation. If you have your loved one have the cognitive screen, what happens is if you notice a change, you can say, well, there is a screen on file at UMass,
Yeah.
you know, and any of the UMass campuses have access to Epic. We all shake hands on the
That took
on
a
the
while
system.
everybody getting used to that.
right.
Oh.
But your doctor just puts in a prescription to
Yeah.
Epic,
Yeah.
and we will get it. You don't even
Just
have
like
to
that.
fax it over.
No.
But it's always a good idea to call 508-486-5900 to ensure that it's there and I can speak with you.
Nadine, this has been great. We've got about 2 minutes left.
Oh,
What
wow.
would you suggest right in the 2 minutes to people, naturally to call you, but not to be afraid, right?
Not to be afraid, because whatever I do is painless. And whatever I do, you will see a difference.
Nadine
And-
Smith, gosh, speech language pathologist. You know, see your doctor, see your ENT doc, whatever. You got a little problem or a big problem, have them refer you over to Nadine Smith. She's over at the Marlborough branch of UMass Medical, and I've been there myself. Not scary. It's
No.
very nice. She's a doll. She
Thank
will
you.
work with you. She takes a very personal interest in how you are doing, and she will talk with you. And I mean talk with you. She will not just walk away and say, oh, you're fine. So, one more time, how can they reach you?
508-486-5900 and ask to speak with me directly, Nadine Smith, to clarify anything with regard to the referral process. And I guarantee you I will do my utmost to work around your schedule
Exactly.
and give
if
you the answers you're looking for.
And if you're an asthma and allergy, as I was, I think my doctor was thinking, well, pills aren't working. That's not clearing up the postnasal drip. Nothing's working that way. He began to put things together and think, you know what? I can send you to speech pathology. And he looked at me and I said, let's do it. What have I got to lose? Thank you so much, Nadine. We
Great.
have to have her back on again. This is such a timely topic
This was
all
great.
the time. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Jan.
You're welcome. We'll see you
Thank
next time on Be My Guest.